Hi, Ghost Recaps here. Today we will be going through an adventure, sci-fi and thriller movie from 2020. Entitled, 2067. There will be spoilers ahead in this video, so chill out and enjoy. In the year 2067, due to climate change, the temperature of the Earth has increased and all plant life has become extinct. Due to the extinction of trees and plants, the amount of oxygen in the air decreased rapidly. People were dying of suffocation. People had to buy artificial oxygen to stay alive. 99% of the world was in darkness. Only a city in ruins in Australia is able to withstand these devastating changes, thanks to the Chronocorp Corporation. Because the corporation is able to create synthetic oxygen, this oxygen is poisonous and gradually causes a fatal disease known as the sickness, leaving the human race with only a few years before complete extinction. Ethan White is a civilian. He and his friend, Jude, work as mechanics at Chronocorp Corporation. The corporation is working day and night to find a cure for the disease and a way to save the world. Ethan takes care of his wife, Xanthi, who is suffering from an illness. Ethan works hard day and night to earn money and buy better oxygen for himself. One day, while Ethan and Jude work in the tunnel, Regina Jackson, Chronocorp's CTO of particle research, calls them into her office. She explains that the disease will eventually wipe out the remainder of humanity. She reveals that Ethan is the only one who can help everyone and save humanity. Ethan is confused and doesn't believe her. Regina takes them to a lab where they are testing a machine called Chronicle by sending a clock a few minutes into the future. It is a prototype time machine that Ethan's late father, quantum physicist Richard White, worked on before his death 20 years earlier. Regina reveals that she sent radio waves through the machine and discovered that 407 years later, in 2474, Earth will have enough vegetation to maintain enough oxygen in the air and sustain human life. Regina guesses that the people from the future want to give them a cure for the disease, but they only have one chance because the Chronicle will use up all of the city's energy. Regina admits that they don't know how to get Ethan back, so she has to find the people who sent the message. She insists that Ethan will be his and his wife's only chance for humanity. Ethan is beyond surprised. He doesn't believe them and thinks Regina is just bluffing. In addition, he does not want to leave his sick wife and go into the future. Therefore, he refused to help. Jude advises Ethan to think seriously about it because his father believed in the scientists at Chronocorp. However, Ethan hates his father because he never lived with him. 20 years ago, his father went missing after leaving home, and his mother died when he was a child. Since then, he has been raised by Jude, a man whom Ethan considers his older brother as well as his best friend. Ethan remembers his 8th birthday, when Richard arrived home late and Ethan waited for him all day. Richard gave Ethan a mysterious box, saying that he made it because he believes that Ethan will be important one day. He said it would hurt, but it would help Ethan become the person he wants to be. As soon as he puts his hand inside the box, a device clamps his wrist, and he starts bleeding. Richard placed a permanent device in his son's hand. Many years pass, but Ethan still doesn't know how to use it. Later at home, Ethan tells Xanthi everything that happened during the day, and she tells him to leave. The next morning, Ethan leaves an artwork of flowers for Xanthi with the promise that he will return. He then goes to Regina's office and tells her that if he could only find one cure, they would have to give it to Xanthi first. Regina accepts him and takes him back to the lab. Billy instructs Ethan to wear a spacesuit because he might land on a mountain or in the ocean, noting that the future Chronicle has not yet connected itself. They give him an AI device named Archie. Archie will be showing Ethan vital organs in the lab at all times. This will also help in navigating its location. The countdown begins, and he is sent into the future. He falls from the sky and lands in an unknown forest. His suit catches fire due to friction with the air, so he immediately takes it off. Ethan is amazed to see the plants and trees that provide the area with abundant oxygen. He finds that the world has completely changed. Trees and natural oxygen are back. Ethan checks their location, but Archie can't connect to the satellite, so he uses a magnet to locate nearby structures. He walks in the direction Archie directs him. Archie leads Ethan to a bunker, where he finds a skeleton. There is a bullet hole in its skull. Furthermore, he looks at the name tag on it and is horrified to see his name. The skeleton belongs to Ethan. Ethan also finds the old and rusty Archie, and he plays the last recording on him. He hears a man saying that this is the only way. Ethan hears two voices arguing, followed by the sound of a gunshot, and then the device powers off. Later, Ethan takes the skeleton's bracelet and sees a green light while there is a red light on his arm. He is terrified, believing that the same fate awaits him. That night, he lit a fire and ate wild berries. However, the berries were poisonous, causing Ethan to vomit and faint. At midnight, a storm comes, and a ball of light falls near his camp. Ethan wakes up after a while and is surprised to see Jude in front of him. He sees a syringe and realizes that he has been injected with antitoxin. The lab noticed that Ethan's vital organs were failing and assumed he was having a reaction to the poison. So, they immediately sent him to the future with the cure to save Jude. The next morning, Ethan shows Jude his skeleton and tells him that this is my future. However, Jude claims that the skeleton is not his. They then use Archie to find another door. Some equipment scans Ethan's eye and grants him access. When they go inside, Ethan finds a terminal prompting him to press enter. When he accepts it, the device on his wrist begins to work, causing him to bleed out. After DNA analysis, it turns green. The lights in the room come on, and they realize they are in Chronocorp's laboratory 407 years later. Jude is relieved when Grid reveals that the portal will be open for 4 hours to send them back. But Ethan worries that he will die because his bracelet turned green, just like his skeleton bracelet. Ethan checks the system log and finds a holographic recording made by his father, which explains that the Chronicle project originally involved the reactivation of an atmospheric monitoring station that would detect the breathability of Earth's atmosphere in the future, and then transmit the data back to the past. When activating the machine for the first time, Richard is surprised to find a message sending his son to the future, so despite his doubts, he decides to do so and gets DNA verification done for Ethan here. However, Billy noted that machine 2474 was having electrical problems. When the system suddenly goes offline, Ethan and Jude realize the time machine can't send them back. The Chronicle's activation causes its nuclear power core to malfunction, threatening a nuclear explosion if not repaired before the countdown completes. This means they must find a way to fix the time machine and travel back to before the explosion. With time running out, they have to act quickly. Soon, they head towards the city to fix the nuclear reactor, which is covered with vegetation. Human skeletons are scattered all over the place. Ethan realizes that the Earth was waiting for humans to die before it could heal itself again. Ethan reaches his wife's house but finds her bones there, causing him to despair. Jude tries to convince him to return to the past, as a cure for the disease does not appear to exist even in the future world. However, Jude's words make Ethan suspicious. He turns on a rusty Archie to play the recording once again, which makes him recognize Jude's voice and believe that Jude was the one who shot him. Jude points his gun at Ethan and tells him he could never kill him. Claiming that he is protecting Ethan from himself, Jude forces Ethan into the reactor's control room at gunpoint. Unable to activate the emergency override, Ethan decides to go inside the airlock and pull the lever. After repairing the power core, the two return to the laboratory. They learn that there were still 37 minutes left before launch. Once the countdown reaches 0, the portal to 2067 will linger for about 30 seconds. Ethan opens a door and finds that it leads to his skeleton. He worries that he can't change his fate because his skeleton is still there. To find out the truth, Ethan takes out his current Archie's battery and inserts it into the rusty Archie. Thus, he gets access to another video, in which Ethan learns that he will be killed by Jude in the future. Jude then confesses that there is no hope for change in the future and that he is trying to save Ethan. Jude suggests they stay in 2474, but Ethan argues that they can't leave everyone to die. Next, Ethan plays a log recorded on his 8th birthday, but Jude attempts to damage the power, so Ethan locks him in the utility room. Ethan discovers that his mission was a sham from the beginning. Regina intended to escape into the future with the chosen few people, while Ethan's father intended to use the time machine to save the entire human race by finding a cure. Wanting to prevent its misuse, Richard implants the time machine into Ethan's DNA, but when Richard's associate announces that the machine can be rigged to send a person one way into the future, Regina kills Richard. She then orders Jude to kill Ethan's mother and have him become Ethan's protector, so that when Ethan grows up, he can be sent to the future to fix the power failure in the time portal. Ethan is beyond surprised. The man whom he considered his brother killed his mother, and now he is going to kill him too. He also realizes that he misunderstood his father when what he was doing was right. As Ethan tries to shut down the time machine, Jude attacks him and urges him to fight. When he refuses, Jude points a gun at Ethan's head. Ethan pleads with Jude and insists that he still believes in him. Jude eventually realizes that he is about to kill Ethan, so he apologizes and shoots himself to avoid that fate. In anger and regret, Ethan is determined to fulfill his father's dying wish, which means finding a cure and saving dying humans. He looks at the monitor and finds the first message written by his father. He concludes that the message "Send Ethan White" was sent by himself. So he recodes the message and sends it to the past, along with many other things. Meanwhile, in 2067, Regina prepares to send a select few through the Chronicle. Regina instructs a guard to shoot Ethan when he arrives. However, to their shock, the time machine sends back hundreds of extinct plants along with a copy of the recorded murder of Ethan's father. Soon after, the time machine is destroyed by Ethan, resulting in the failure of Regina's plan. Regina is arrested for murder. New plants have given hope that Earth's ecosystems can regenerate. A messenger delivers a package for Xanthi. When she opens it, Xanthe sees a real flower and cries in sadness upon learning that it was Ethan's. Ethan, now left alone in the future world, buries Jude and forgives her. A butterfly catches his attention and leads him again to the same entrance, where Ethan is happy to see that his future corpse is gone. Ethan runs to the cliff and learns that people have survived by building sustainable places where artificial structures blend well with nature. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Have a nice day.